everyone. Welcome to another episode of Arenda Talks. Today we will talk about Hocus Pocus 2. Hocus Pocus 2 is a 2022 American fantasy comedy film directed by Anne Fletcher, written by Jen D'Angelo, and produced by Walt Disney Pictures. It's a sequel to the 1993 film Hocus Pocus. It stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Katie Naimani, and Doug Jones, reprising their roles, with Sam Richardson, Whitney Peake, Melissa Escobedo, Tony Hale, and Hannah Waddingham joining the cast in new roles. In 1653 Salem, Reverend Tresca banished a young Winifred Sanderson after she defied church authority by refusing to marry John Pritchett. Rather than allow her sisters, Mary and Sarah, be taken from her, Winifred escaped with them to the nearest forbidden forest. There they meet Mother Witch, who gives Winifred her magic book for her 16th birthday, but explicitly warns the sisters again, casting a spell known as the Magic Maxima, which makes the user all-powerful. Mother Witch also teaches the sisters to retain their youthfulness by killing children. In 2022, 29 years after the Sanderson sisters were resurrected by the Black Flame Candle, Salem teenagers Becca and Izzy prepare to celebrate both Halloween and Becca's 16th birthday, but turn down a party invitation from their estranged friend Cassie Tresca. Becca and Izzy visit the magic shop, formerly the Sanderson Cottage, run by Gilbert, who gives Becca a candle for their annual birthday ritual. The girls light the candle and discover that it is another black flame candle. As there is a full moon and the girls are both virgins, the candle resurrects the Sanderson sisters once again. The girls are out with the sisters in a local Walgreens and escape the magic shop, where they are discovered that Will will trick them into reviving the witches. Having seen them on Halloween in 1993 and been taught how to make the candle by book, the sisters catch up to the girls and see a campaign flyer belonging to Mayor Jeffrey Tresca, Cassie's father and Reverend Tresca's descendant. When a threat decide they will cast the Magic Maxima spell to eliminate him and take revenge on Salem. The sisters trap Izzy and Becca in the basement and leave the hunt down Tresca, whose blood is needed to complete the spell. They force Gilbert to collect the other ingredients. The girls escape and head to the Tresca's house to warn the mayor, while the sisters find their way to the town Halloween carnival and enchant the citizen to help them with the mayor, which was a very nice scene because they start singing that song. Meanwhile, Gilbert digs up Billy Butcherson, who has been awake but entombed since 1993. He needs Billy's head for the spell, but tricks him into helping him collect the other ingredients first. The girls reunite with Cassie and trap the sisters within a soul circle in Cassie's garage before Mayor Tresca's return home. The three teens make amends with one another, but their reunion is interrupted when the sisters escape the circle and kidnap Cassie to use her blood instead. Becca and Izzy follow them to the Forbidden Forest, where Gilbert has assembled the ingredients and soon discover that Becca is also a witch. The sisters particularly cast the spell and increase their power, but Becca distracts them while Izzy rescued Cassie. Beckett convinced the book that it does not have to answer to Winifred, and she and the book flee further into the forest. The book shows them a warning about the Magici Maxima spell, stated that whoever cast it must give up what they cherished most. The girls agree to warn Winifred of the price of the spell, but are too late. She becomes all-powerful and Mary and Sarah fades to dust. Winifred grows despondent and begs the teenagers to use their newfound powers to save her sisters. While they cannot save them, Becca, Cassie and Izzy join together in a coven and cast a uniting spell, so Winifred happily fades away to be reunited with her sisters. Well, I really enjoyed this movie, and like the first movie, it was, of course, it's kind of childish, but it's also like, I love those stories because it is simple, you know? And I do really like that Doc Jones and the three Sanderson sisters reprised their roles. It was really enjoyable to see them. And talking about Doc Jones, I didn't know he was in this movie. And that's because we know Doc Jones always behind the mask and playing those aliens. And I really noticing Doc Jones just because of Star Trek Discovery. He also, of course, placed an alien, but there was a few episodes that we see him as Doc Jones, as a human. And after that, I was Googling him on the web, and then I saw in how much movies he actually plays an alien, or like in this movie, a zombie. And what I really liked about this movie, and also the other movie, the first movie, is that it's so light in the sphere and how the story has been told, and in one way it has the fantasy tropes all over it, and you know, it's understandable for every, well, for I think the age of maybe as early as 6, I guess, cause it's just so simple and it is really well written. I really loved it. It's just nice to see that they put things from the first movie also in this movie. And you know, sometimes it's better to do it in a way, because this movie was really a next in line in that way, and that's what I really liked about it, is that when Winifred used the magical spell that makes her powerful but let her sisters faded, and there was a moment that you really could say that the girls, which in Becca was the real witch, they became the next Sanderson sisters, if I can say it like that. And it was really funny because at the end of the movie, you saw them that really Sanderson walk. You know, it's very famous. And another thing in this movie, I really, really loved the songs in it. And it reminded me of, because the one song that it sounded like a lullaby, to me it's more like it's not sounding like a lullaby. To me it sounded like a lullaby, but it was like a spell song. And I think the nice thing of the Anderson sisters, they are all very good actresses, but also very good singers. And I love the songs. I really love the songs. There's a lot of humor also in this movie. And there was the one thing that they, when they were resurrected, and they still were talking in the language of from the 1600, and that was in one way very funny. But there was also that moment that they were in the drugstore because they wanted potions to look younger, and otherwise they had to, what they always do, and that was eating children to look younger. So, when they were finished there, they needed brooms, but only Winifred could find brooms. And I think Mary had had a Hoover, and the other one had those, what you call it these days, I don't know how those, but it was very modern, and it was really, how can I say this? This was just really funny to see them use those modern things to fly instead of a broom. Another thing, those three young actresses who played the young Sanderson sisters, they are really good. And they really acted like the Sanderson sisters are and will react. So they did a very good job to cast them. What I also love is when the Sanderson home is the now magical gift shop from Gilbert. And it is very funny, or very suited in that way, how his magical gift shop is now how the Sanderson witches feeling home there. And although it's completely different, and in one way not, because it's right at their alley, how it's all look like, and of course their magical spell book is there. And what is really fascinating is that I think if you are thinking witches, you are always thinking, okay, they have a big bind spell book. What also is known, like, for example, the Book of Shadows. The Book of Shadows is a little bit different than a complete spell book, but I think it's nice to have your own spell book in a way. Okay, this is the spells that we are having from generation, and this is from my own experience, but also like it's not that I'm a witch, but I know what they're talking about, and it's nice to see that the whole atmosphere of witches in Salem. I'm not talking about present Salem, but how they sketch it, and that is how it all went. And if you are looking at the witches' trials in Salem, they did a pretty good job how it was, and how it was in the early days. I must say that it is only one thing pity that they don't show you more of the surroundings of Salem, and like they could have done a little bit more of showing how Salem looks like, and why we know it as Salem as we know. And well, of course, we've seen the Halloween carnival, and I must say it looks really pretty, and it is nice that in this movie you see how Halloween can celebrate it differently. Of course, in other I don't want to say religious sites, but more on, and I really hate to use this word, but in the occult, Halloween is a totally different celebration than the normal people know and think. And I think a lot of you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was nice to see that there was a different kind of celebration. And there was another thing, and of course it was all by the mayor. What's his name? Well, the mayor that was the descendant of the reverend. I must say I didn't like him, and I didn't like him as a reverend, but I didn't also like him as a mayor. And it was a weird mayor. He, I don't know. It was more like that he was. I don't want to say fake, but that he was like. He was a laughable figure. And as we know, I don't know. I just didn't like him. And you know who also was very irritating? That boyfriend of Cassie. Oh my god, I could shoot him in a moment. You know, he was so irritating, and yeah, not that I was thinking. Talking about the three young other witches, I think they were very cast as well, and I don't want to say they were the same as the Sanderson sisters, but they had their own qualities, and you could see that they will grow into it. And the only thing what I still rather want to say is that I think I hope that they make another part 3, because this is an open ending, and I don't want to say movies have to end so we can have closure, but it is more like it is a nice story, and like I said, it's not too heavy for children, and it's a nice story to tell and to watch. And in one way, I'm very curious how the three girls will do after the Sanderson sisters disappeared. And of course, we know that Billy also disappeared, because now he could rest. The Sanderson sisters has been gone. And, you know, I'm very curious what happened to the three girls. And also with Gilbert, because Gilbert was the one who actually gave Becca that magical black candle for her birthday. So she resurrected the Sanderson sisters. So, in one way, I hope that she is developing herself, but also like she would keep the magic for good instead of bad, what the Sanderson sister would do. And I hope that she will write her own spell book, or do other things with it. And what was really, I don't want to say weird, but of course, Cassie is the daughter of the mayor, and how can it that she would be one of the witches in a way to have be in Becca's coven? Because if she isn't the descendant of the reverends, yeah, it's weird to think of that she would be a witch, and that perhaps, and I think about it right now, perhaps it is because um she will break the curse, or she will break the family tradition. You know, that magical gift shop reminds me of Harry Potter. It's just the atmosphere there, like potions and books and other magical things. And the funny thing was, Gilbert was putting like wizard robes on, and etc. And he reminded me of someone of Harry Potter, out of Harry Potter, and and that you could see when he put that on for Halloween when he was young. That was some kind of a robe from Fantasia 2000 with Mickey when he was a wizard, and it reminded me of that. And the funny part also is that all the things you see in the gift shop has a meaning, and a spiritual meaning, and I can talk about those things for hours, and I'm even writing a book. So but I know what it means, and like the funny the nice part of it is that they kept that in one way, in honor. So, for example, the protecting salt circle, or the candle, or the the smudge leaves, and of course the crystals, etc. And it was nice to see that they didn't make a big deal out of it, because I think people need to get more, I don't want to say involved with those things, but like I said, it would be nice if they would be more open to it. And yeah, just don't be scared. But okay, enough about that. Let me see. Is there anything else I wanted to? Oh yeah, when the three sisters were young, and Winifred, the oldest one, needed to marry. What was his name? I can't remember it now. But okay. Um, she had to marry, and she didn't want to. And he said, "Well, then I will marry Billy, because Billy and I shared a kiss on the graveyard, in the graveyard." And at that moment, they show you a little bit how it would be in like the witches' trials and etc. And um, what I want to say it again. Those three young girls who has been cast as the young Sanderson sisters were really great. They acting was so to the point. You could really see the characters of personalities of the Sanderson sisters. I really loved them. I really do. Um, I think there's also the point that there is a point of truth in the movie, and I'm pointing, I think, again on the Salem witch trials. And it kept hanging on me because I have seen a lot of documentaries about the Salem witch trials and Salem, etc. And it's still on my bucket list. I really like to go to Salem and look what's around there, etc. And yeah, um, there's only one thing still to do, and that is my rating. My rating is a 9. Probably you could have expected that, cause you know, it's just, yeah, it's just, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's just really a movie that I would say, okay, it's dark, it's get under a blanket, have a pot of tea, the dog on the couch, etc., and just watch this movie. It's just, yeah, it's really. Probably you have recognized it. It's right in my alley, and yeah, it's just I liked it. So the rating of IMDb is very low, and I'm really shocked by that. And that was 6.0. And I don't know what you guys think about. Oh, totally forgot that. There was a very thing on Facebook and Twitter that there was a mom from America. I can't remember where. And she was saying, well, don't watch Hocus Pocus 2 because they will put a spell on you for real. And there was a big commotion about that. And when I read that, I was thinking, it's just a movie. Hello? Don't take it serious. And yeah, it really did a think was, no, you don't have to do that. Let somebody else enjoy this movie. And so I'm a little bit shocked about the rating of IMDb 6.0. I expected it more higher in that. And yeah, well, who knows? Of course, this is only Hocus Pocus. But I'm going to tell you soon I will do 2 episodes about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So first I will do an episode about the old Sabrina Teenage Witch, and then about the new series on Netflix. That is also very interesting. And yeah, well, like I always say, guys, respond and talk with me about this episode, about Hocus Pocus 2. I like to know what you think about this movie. And who knows, we can start a discussion. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I love doing the podcast that I do. So in Orinda Talks, but also like Girls Talking Track. You can respond on that. I like to talk about with you guys about and discuss with you about the episode, or about the episode recap, or about the fandom where I'm talking about, etc. It's just nice to have a conversation with somebody who likes it or don't like it. It's just it makes my life a stuck nicer too, and not only mine, I think for you all. And that's what I'm doing, and it's and maybe you have seen it around Twitter and the Facebook groups that I was thinking about putting up a Patreon page for Girls Talking Track. But after all seeing and thinking about it, we are not this professionals. We're just doing this as for fun. So I leave it at that. And yeah, you guys just have to do with what we're doing. And well, maybe I can put also a video recording a video episode for you guys here on the Oriental Talks. And well, let me know what you think about that idea, because as long as I don't get feedback, I can't change things. And I don't know what you guys thinking. So, once again, just respond and give me some feedback. Dear listeners, thank you for listening, and join me in 2 weeks for a new episode of Oriental Talks. The next episode is about Stranger Things. You can listen, subscribe, and comment to Oriental Talks on the YouTube channel or join the Facebook group. I also like to tell you about my other podcast called Girls Talking Trek. Girls Talking Trek is a podcast hosted by 2 female trekkers who will recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek, starting with Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped and chronically following. Girls Talking Trek is also to listen, follow, and subscribe on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or on your favorite podcast app. Every 10th episode will be a video episode, so you guys can see us when we talk about the episode. We also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook group where you can comment on the episode. I will see you in 2 weeks.